Good evening. Today's topic is into the future. It's with AI, beauty in the body and our mind. This involves spiritually for you also. It's a heavy topic, and it's something I've been wanting to speak out on, and I've heard some people speak on it, from the Lord's Watchmen to generals. I won't name, so you can look it up on this topic. What I'm about to share is on alterations. How far will you go on longevity and beauty? Okay. What's happening and will continue to excel, especially with AI, science, health, and body, is, we want to look younger in a day and age where we don't want to age. Okay, I'm saying this because in the beauty industry, let's say, we get cosmetic surgeries. Like for me right now, it's July 7th, 2025. As of now, I've not had any work done. Botox, injections, I've gone for facials, like that, skincare, but nothing where it's, a heavy chemical into my skin with injections, with needles, like that. Now, I'm not against certain surgeries. Like I've even considered having tattoo makeup done because it would save time. Get up and your face is done. It would be convenient to have that. And I'm not against people getting surgeries. Like I said, as we age, things happen. Skin sags. I have stretch marks on my legs, scars. And there's innovations now and continue to where your skin is going to look like it's completely grafted, smooth, no scars, nothing like that. And if you have surgery done, some of the women, they have back problems because maybe you're heavy chested and it affects your knees, affects your walking. So I wouldn't be against that. Going the other way, I guess I'm not against that either. It just depends. If you're scrounging and your priorities are off and you're using that money when you really need it for groceries or something like that, then yeah, maybe you're taking it too far. But if you have excess, that's what a lot of wealthy people do. And even parents now in their 20s, they hit 21 and they get procedures done on themselves, which to me, I think that's going a little too far on a youngin'. That's like saying just adjust your body because you don't like it or you want to improve. I think it's stretching it. I would want to invest for the kid, like maybe get a house or a crypt, something like that, that's going to take them into their future, as opposed to, yeah, I support you and your body and whatever you want to have for your body because you don't like it. No, I don't agree with that. If it's a health reason to have something done, possibly. Like if you're flat-footed, like I am, let's say, and you need arches put in, something like that that's going to benefit you, then yeah, sure, why not? And you have excess. What I'm talking about is where they're doing this, and this is what I've seen on some of the channels, is they're taking your head and then putting it on a different body. Say you're 80 years old and you want a new body. So you have maybe a 40-year-old body or a 30-year-old body to that 80-year-old face. And you know how we see a lot of faces where they've used sunscreen, they've protected their face, yet their neck is all wrinkled. So their neck and chest sort of give away their age. Yeah. But anyway, I think it's a little too much. Because then you get into, well, where's the soul? If you take a different body and then you take a different head, and vice versa. You could take a different body and put it on a different head. Or if I'm saying that right. Body to head. Or head to body. So it's, where do you draw the line? Where are you playing God in genetics and DNA? Where they're also taking... Okay, let me finish this out with the body. So let's say you have too many scars on your body, too many wrinkles. You don't want that body, but you're keeping your head. And it could be the other way, where you feel you have too many wrinkles on your head, so you place it on a different body. Or what they're doing, and they're justifying it, is they're taking even people who are in comas. This is what I saw on a channel. And this is a general in the Lord. He was showing how, this was months ago, and I didn't dare talk on it even though I wanted to. But now that AI is expanding a lot further, and science since then, I wanted to bring this up in the beauty industry. That, you know, even people who are in comas, they figure in the world, there's no use. They're just laying there. So we might as well put the body to use. And they're putting new hearts, new brains, everything in there to almost make a new body. They're doing, I mean, even criminals can do this, where they have a new face, but it's a different body. Then who is that person? How would you identify who that is? So that's altering. That's like playing with DNA too. And we know God hates that. God does not want us to, you know, play God in a sense. Create people out of certain genes, saying we want these 10 characteristics. Da, 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 da. No. God made us into his image. God created how he wanted each one of us to be, not where we have an input of, hey, we want that kid to look like this. We want that kid to have this kind of makeup. We're going to be seeing this more and more, and possibly even with models, where, and now it's kind of like trans models, but then the norm might be where their bodies are placed with a different head, or their head it's two different people, or with the organs. And that's another industry. Harvesting organs is what I was seeing on a channel recently. You know, maybe your liver is going, your heart is going, you have an 80-year-old heart, but then you want to have a 30-year-old heart. It to me, it's just crazy. Like, it's a little bit too much. Just like at a store, I'm not going to be buying and don't GMO vegetables. You know, I like broccoli, I like cauliflower, but I'm not going to eat something that's a mix of those two. Because that's we're not intended to eat foods like that. It's not healthy. You know, I'm bringing this up because where do you draw the line? And then you have to disclose in the future that you have a different head to your body, just like you have to disclose your age, your gender somewhat in modeling. Anyway, with the organ harvesting, there's a very dark side, is what I've read and seen, to where now You know, on your driver's license where you can pick if you want to donate your organs. I used to do that. And then on a renewal, I decided not to. Someone I know told me they harvest organs. The organs you donate, they will harvest that. And off the black market, there's a black market for it, and I do not want to support that in any way. I mean, there's children, there's people, even older people, like genocide. They will take their organs for this on the black market for whatever purposes they want to have, and usually it's very vain. You know, it could be sold to terrorists. It could be all. It's tied together. Like what I heard on a channel recently, the terrorism, organ harvesting, sex trafficking, especially the child trafficking, and all that's going on underground. The push for AI, all this. And more so spiritually. Again, I saw it on a channel. I'm not going to reference it on several channels. How the dark side want us to be so engulfed in our phones or devices that we're not relying on God for answers, relying on Him for prayer, spending time with Him. And then most of all, how the chip is going to be placed in the right hand or on the forehead. So it's gradually going. It started in Switzerland. I believe it started there a couple years back, where they already have the chip in place. And we've got to say no. We've got to say no matter what, because this leads to damnation forever in hell. Even if you accepted Christ at one point and invited Him in, just like you invite a friend over to your home, they're not going to come in unless you invite them first. Just like we invite Christ in a relationship with Him, because He gives us free will. So when we put Him Lord of our lives and invite Him in, and it's just very scary, because elite people that have been in the faith, that have served in the church for years, they're going to be in deception too. I mean, when the going gets tough, the UBI, they want us in the cities, clump us together, desperate, so we take that government funding for food, for just basic needs and to live on, to accept that and to have the chip. And we don't want the chip whatsoever. So that's why there's such an emphasis on prepping, so you're independent. So you have your own energy, resources, electricity. Even the solar is not going to be 100%, because there's going to be a time where the sun is going to fade out. So we have to come up with other alternatives for energy. And I think this is where community is so important, to get your core, pick them now. I mean, even in neighborhoods, pick friends that you really trust and care about, the friends and family that you trust. They also do some prepping so that they share the load. They're not going to be bumming off of you and expecting not to do anything. So I don't agree with Christians who say, no, I don't have to prep, Jesus is coming, which we know He's coming very soon. But there's nothing wrong with extra food, with extra water, having clean, filtered water. I mean, Jesus would be prepared somewhat with that and not relying on people. He would have some extra. So I don't agree in putting yourself in jeopardy if you don't have to. And that's why it's good to be prepped. Have some land, be out of the cities, have energy efficient vehicles, not necessarily the vehicles, like bicycles or something you can pedal. And even the energy, the electric, I think is awesome, where you ride your bike and it provides electricity. You know, look at America. America has the highest obesity, and so imagine more people pedaling to make electricity on the grid. You know, I think more people would lose weight, feel healthier, and give us energy at the same time. So just consider it. Consider all that's going on with AI, and like from my studies of it, AI is a great tool. However, in the end, we know where that's kind of leading to. These trans human beings, where they're going to fight in the army in the end times, and with AI, it's going to control people, where it's going to turn evil. Where AI will shout and the robots will shout to have you do things to people that are not of God. You know, they're going to say things and fight you, basically. They may even have like a knife in their hand at one point and turn on you. It's not that way now. You'll see in time how AI is going to start ruling people and the world, where it's going to become a god in a sense, and that scientists and the higher ups, they want you to figure it's the answer, and it's not. Jesus is the answer. And just like the Tower of Babel is what we keep hearing, they climbed that to figure they had all the answers. They had all the answers, and they don't. They got closer to certain answers, just like CERN, you know. But in the end, it is hard to get out of AI, because even when we Google search, it goes into that. And I've heard to limit that, the searches, and sometimes it's hard not to. I think getting this out now, more creative contenters to put this out, for the kingdom, to put this out now, to warn people, so that they just keep getting this message, and that we can just pray for more angels to be sent on earth, more miracles, everything, to speak out, to take authority, and to share with people you know on this, so it's not a shock. And just start talking about it. Start talking about it with your friends, and have a game plan. Have your alternatives. With people, yes, every person is beautiful in a sense. We all have our attributes. And really, we don't need to alter our physical selves, you know, and it's just kind of for us if we decide to do it. Sometimes I look at cosmetic surgery as sort of a haircut or hair color. You change it up. And so maybe you have extra skin hanging. You could be one of those that lost 100 pounds and you have all the skin sagging. Having surgery would be fantastic and a burden off of you, you know, because you're dealing with saggy skin. So I would be for that, you know. But what I talked about, having a head placed over your body, a different body, maybe someone that was in a coma. To me, that's really shady. You know, to me, that is just a little too much. And I just let it be. If the Lord decides to take someone out of a coma, and the Holy Spirit, that's up to them. To change the body on it and put it on another head, that's a totally different story. So you decide. you do your research and come up with your conclusion.